Well, researchers from the University of Alberta are part of a team that have developed a new diet they say can significantly reduce chronic diseases like obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. The study involves people living in rural Papua New Guinea, but the human trial was done right here in Edmonton. Joining us today is Anissa Ahmet, who's a researcher from the U of A. Anissa, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
You've got all this in front of you here. What are you working on here as you put this together?
So this is one of the recipes that we used in the trial. It's a sweet potato black bean hash. So here I've got some chopped sweet potatoes, and we add some chopped onion as well as some chopped bell pepper to the dish. And then to put it in the oven, we add some olive oil and spices. So salt,
Easy
pepper.
stuff.
Yeah.
So this is part of the NiMe Diet. Can you explain what NiMe stands for?
Yeah, so NiMe stands for Non-Industrialized Microbiome Restored Diet. And really, this diet was meant to mimic traditional diets of people living in non-industrialized countries.
I see.
And our diet living in industrialized countries, our modern diet is very processed, refined, and low in fiber. And that essentially starves our gut microbes and may increase our risk of developing chronic diseases. And so with this diet, we're trying to restore the gut microbiome by providing more nutrition to our gut microbiome in the hopes that it would reduce risk of chronic diseases.
Okay, interesting. So you finish that up. So that goes in the oven as is?
Yes, exactly. For about 25 or 30 minutes, basically until the vegetables are tender. And then what we would do after they've been cooking is add in a can of black beans. This will add a lot of dietary fiber that will support our microbiome. And here I have cooked millet, which is a whole grain.
Okay.
This can be sometimes hard to find, so instead it can be swapped for quinoa, brown rice, anything like that. This recipe is very easy to customize and prepare in advance so that you always have a high fiber meal to support your microbiome on hand.
Okay, so this is one example in the diet. What are some other things that people may recognize in this diet that they could use?
Yeah, so essentially the NiMe diet was very high in vegetables, fruits, and legumes. So lots of different vegetables we used and different legumes like beans, yellow peas, and then of course fruits and things like that, all very high in fiber. And otherwise the diet was low in animal protein because it's not typically eaten as much as we do in industrialized countries.
I was just going to say, I don't see much beef. I don't see any wheat, any dairy. Why is that?
Yeah, so those foods typically aren't available in these non-industrialized countries. And so we tried to mimic what they eat by excluding them in the diet that was used in the study at the U of A.
And so eating things like this can actually sort of boost everybody up. Is that what your research has shown?
Yeah, so our study showed that by eating this NiMe diet for 3 weeks, we saw a significant change in the gut microbiome that was linked to reduce risk of chronic diseases by reducing markers like our bad cholesterol, LDL, reducing blood sugar levels, as well as markers of inflammation.
Okay, so what types of diseases we're talking about that could be avoided?
Yeah, so this would those markers are typically used to define our risk of things like diabetes and heart disease. And so we think by eating a diet that more so mimics these non-industrialized countries, eating lots more dietary fiber, that would reduce your risk for those chronic diseases that are linked to not only poor diet, but also changes in the gut microbiome.
Very interesting stuff. Well, it looks delicious. It smells delicious. If it can help us out, that goes a long way too. Congratulations on the research. I know a lot of work went into this and there's a lot of interesting things in there. You can find more, and actually the free digital copy of the NiMe Diet cookbook just came out. So you can go to era.library.ualberta.ca and search NiMe Diet, is NiMe Diet, to find it there. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you very much.